Hello and welcome on Vivek's Viewpoint. This is Vivek and today I am going to discuss a vital topic which is women in armed forces. Because it is generally a myth that women are generally weaker than men. But if you want to look at the strongest women, then just look at military women because they are fucking strongest. And there is one more thing which if I am saying that let's assume an officer or soldier, then there is more than 90% probability that you are going to assume a male soldier, more than 90% probability that you are going to assume a male soldier. So let's change the scenario, and in this video I am going to discuss it in two phases. First about the global scenario and second about the Indian perception. I will discuss also the challenges, the achievements which a women's achieve. So let's start with the global scenario first. If I'm going to talk about the global scenario, then I have to start it from World War First, because at the time of World War First, women play a vital role because they served as auxiliary roles in nurses, telephonic operator, clerks. But if I'm going to talk about the World War Second, then there is a slightly different, because women play a vital role in mechanics, pilots, and intelligence officers. There is a slightly difference in role at the time of World War II. But after the finishing of World War II in 1945, there is a Cold War between the Soviet Union and the United States of America from 1945 to 1991. At the time of 1945 to 1991, more countries opened its door for the women to give the opportunity to serve for the nation. After that, in the time of 1990s and 2000, there is focus on gender equality. More nations started focusing on gender equality to give the equal opportunity to women. If I'm going to talk about Indian Constitution, from Article 14 to Article 18, there is right to equality. And in Article 15, there is right to equality. I think there is no discrimination on grounds of sex, religion, caste, or place of birth. More countries opening doors to the women at the time of 1990s and 2000. Now, if I am going to talk about the combat roles, so Norway is the first country which allowed women in combat roles in 1985. After that, I think in 1988, Israel is the country which allowed women in combat roles. If I am going to talk about Israel, then the current situation is really worst. There is no ceasefire, there is attack on Gaza. I hope you know. But I think there is one thing, that United Nations is still irrelevant. If you want to know about the United Nations is relevant or not, then you can watch my previous video on this channel. After that, if I'm going to talk about the Islamic nations, then there is, I don't know, there is not that much data on the Google or internet. Islamic nations allowed or not allowed women to serve in armed forces. But the Pakistan, I think they have the women officers. Pakistan allowed women in armed forces at the higher ranks officers like colonel, brigadier, general, whatever it is. Let's go further, and it's time to discuss about Indian perception. So if I'm going to talk about it from it's from World War First and World War Second, then there is British Indian Armed Forces, in which women play same roles as nurses, as little bit clerks or telephonic operators. But after the independence and after the 1945, women have specific places to work. Like they only worked as medical officers or medical soldiers and the administrative purpose only after the independence. So there are more and more improvements are there. At the time of 1992, there is a decision that women are allowing for the Short Service Commission to serve the country for from 10 to 14 years. After that, in 2018, after a lot of improvements in there, after that in 2008, that government allowed women to get the permanent commission in legal and education corps only. After that, there is a lot of improvements. In 2016, Indian Naval Staff inducted first batch of female pilots in Indian Navy. In 2016 as well, Indian Air Force allowed women to become the fighter pilots. After that, in 2018, there are three women officers, Mohana Singh, Bhavna Kant and Avni Chaturvedi. As you can see on your screen, these are the first three women officers to become fighter pilots. In 2020, there is a verdict, 2020, there is a verdict from Supreme Court that the women which was selected from the Short Service Commission have treated equally. As you know, I think in 2021, 5 September, there is a verdict from Supreme Court that girls are also allowing to write the NDA exam. Now, if I'm going to talk about the combat roles, we have the fucking second biggest army in the world, and we have third biggest air force in the world. We have seventh biggest navy in the world. But if I'm going to talk about army, we have only 3.8% combat roles for women. In air force, we have 13% only. In navy, we have only 6%. As you can see. So now let's talk about the achievements. If I'm going to talk about the achievements, I'm going to start it from Kargil War. There are two great pilots, Sri Vidya Ranjan and Gunjan Saxena. As you can see on your screen, they play a very vital role from rescuing Indian personals from war zone to the peace zone. They saved approximately more than 100 lives at the time of Kargil War. After that, I'm going to tell about the Shiva Chauhan, Captain Shiva Chauhan, who is posting at the right now at the Siachen Glacier at the 15,000 feet from engineering branch at the Kumar post. As you can see on your screen, this is Captain Shiva Chauhan. After that, I'm going to talk about the Captain Tanya Sergil. She is the first woman lady officer to be adjutant to lead the all-main contingent in the Army Day function. After that, I'm going to talk about Major Deepika Rathore, who is the first woman to reach the Mount Everest from Indian Armed Forces twice, as you can see on your screen. So after that, it's time to talk about the challenges. Women faced a lot of challenges. First, gender-based discrimination. Second, harassment. Third, stereotypes. Fourth, lack of privacy and sanitation. Fifth, isolation issues. As of they face a lot of issues. But despite among all the fucking issues or problems, women demonstrate itself be the strongest and capable of doing something and capable of to serve the nation as well. So thank you very much. If you like the video, then like, share and subscribe it.